is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
If anybody goes beyond the solid concrete, you're gonna have to answer to security, not to me.
I should have known there would be like 30 minutes.
I have other hats and ears in my car, but it's so windy I'm not taking them off.
Right.
Just go in between us. Just don't go past us.
Don't go fast.
So close, so close, so close.
You will have guards come out.
Guys,
Like,
you don't have to stand there.
I'm gonna stand right here.
This is really cool. They decided to open up the gates, but we cannot go past this line or else security will get us. Well, that's as close as we're going to get to the Boeing Starliner. It's beautiful.
We're told you guys were going to be here, so that's why we're here. I guess to answer questions, get one-on-one talk or whatever. But before we do that, let me introduce Jim Morehart. He's the Deputy Administrator for NASA.
Hi guys.
A few words from him.
Absolutely.
Y'all know Colonel Bob Cabana already,
Yeah.
right? Y'all already met him.
Well, I want to talk about Bob Cabana for a minute here, all right? First off, we're all excited to be here at the Kennedy Space Center, but Bob Cabana transformed this Space Center into what it is today. And he's transforming it into something that includes commerce. You think about our challenges in the United States about funding issues, things of that nature. We're trying to leverage the commercial sector to basically continue space exploration. And Bob Cabana has made that happen here. I don't know what we'd do without him. And so we're all blessed that he is here.
I'm blessed to have an awesome team and great leadership. The best thing about, I think y'all know NASA's #1 on the Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey for the 8th year in a row. I would also like to add that KSC is the #1 center of all 10 NASA centers. I'll just throw that out.
Not that I've ever heard that before.
But why is NASA #1? And we're #1, I think, for 2 reasons. First off, because we have this NASA family, and it's the way we treat people. I mean, this social is part of our NASA family. We expect you to go out and take this message from today and share it with everybody. You reach more people than I possibly can. And the other part of it is, we got a meaningful mission. I mean, we're doing something nobody else is doing. When our folks go home at night, I don't care what your job is at NASA. I don't care what you're doing, whether you're supporting in the legal office, procurement, human resources, or you're one of the engineers making it happen. Everybody has a key role to play. And when you go home at night, you go home knowing you made a difference, not just for the state of Florida, for our nation, but you made a difference for humanity. Because that's what we're doing. This is a new era of space exploration we're setting off here. We're going to leave planet Earth. We're enabling commercial operations to space. It's not just for astronauts like Butch and me anymore. I mean, we're going to have normal people flying in space, right? We're going to have artists and musicians and everybody else eventually, and we're going to establish
I'm more normal
that.
than Colonel Bob.
But we're going to go exploring. We're going to establish a presence in our solar system beyond our home planet, and to do that, we're going to make low Earth orbit available for commercial operations so we can explore. This is just the first step. It's the beginning of a journey that's going to take us, beyond planet Earth. And I can't think of a more exciting time. I just, launching this crew vehicle tomorrow morning. It's been
August 19 or
July of 2011.
August, yes, sir.
We're over 8 years since we had a human launch from KSC. Now next spring, we are going to be launching SpaceX and Boeing, with crew on it. It's been a long time coming, but man, it's great.
Amen. And you might ask, why now? Why not years ago? Flying in space is hard. Putting humans on top of brand new rockets with brand new systems, doing things we've not done in the past is not easy. And as you go through the process, there's growing pains, and some of these growing pains result in changing a couple of systems and doing some things along the way, and that's why it takes a while. It is tough.
Well, that's why we're flying this test flight. We're going to learn things on this uncrewed test flight that will allow us to make them better when we fly Butch and the guys on it. And we now have our NASA administrator.
Oh, there he is.
Oh.
That way, when they take their shots, we got the rocket in the background.
All right.
Welcome, sir. How you doing?
Hey, good. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Hello, sir.
Howdy. Sorry for being here late.
Oh, that's okay. We understand your schedule's tight.
Yeah. Good. So you're kicking them some knowledge.
We're kicking them a little knowledge. Jim Bridenstine, the National Administrator. Any comments, sir?
I'm just thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're on the cusp of launching American astronauts on American rockets from American soil. One of those rockets, the Atlas V, is behind us with a Starliner on top. We're entering a new era. This is an era where we're gonna commercialize space. You know, NASA wants to be a customer. We want to be one customer of many customers in a robust commercial marketplace in low Earth orbit. We want to have numerous providers that are competing against each other on cost and innovation. The goal here is to drive down cost and increase access to space with humans to ultimately make it more accessible for more people. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning of this new era. And tomorrow's flight, which of course is an uncrewed test flight, is really the first end-to-end test of the Starliner, so that we can learn what we need to learn, make adjustments, and then get ready to launch our astronauts again for the first time since 2011, the retirement of the space shuttle. So this is a big deal for us. It's a big deal for the United States of America, and in fact for the world. All right, so questions, thoughts, concerns? Yes, you had a question.
I feel a little silly now, but I was going to ask if I may give you a hug.
Absolutely, go. Hugs. All right.
She's a hugger.
All right.
100% hugger.
Good.
This is a dream come true for me.
That's
For
awesome.
all of us here.
Wait till you see it launch.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we're going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah. It is.
Hey Jim, could you share with them the amount of media connections we had with the all-female spacewalk?
Yeah, I don't know what those totals were, but is Bettina here?
5.8 billion.
Yeah, 5.8 billion. Imagine that. When we had the world's first all-female spacewalk, it got 5.8 billion views on social media. 5.8 billion. That's pretty amazing. So imagine what's going to happen when we send not just the next man, but the first woman to the moon. It's going to inspire a whole generation of young women, including my 11-year-old daughter, who's so excited about that happening. So it's important for our country, and we're looking forward to it.
Growing up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I've always wanted to come here. So this is like a big deal.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for telling our story. This is important. We are on the cusp of commercializing human spaceflight. So we think about the commercialization of space. People talk about communication networks and remote sensing and those kind of things. But what we really want to do is we want to have commercial human spaceflight, which means we need to industrialize space. We need advanced materials developed in a microgravity environment that can't be developed on Earth. We need medicines developed in space that can't be developed in the gravity well of Earth. And ultimately, when this is successful, we're going to see the demand result in capital flows, where we have public-private partnerships with NASA, and also the supply. And this is really about the supply. It's about making sure that if people need access to space, there is an availability for that access to space. So thank you for telling the story.
Thank you. It's amazing.
You bet. Thanks.
And your name?
I'm Jessica.
Jessica. Pleasure.
I'm a hugger.
Oh, come on, Jessica. Let's hug. Yeah, outstanding. Yeah, me too.
It's like
Ooh, you've got a nice jacket. That's soft.
cold.
Yeah.
I'm so cold. Anything that you would like to say to everybody watching?
Goodness, that's put you on the spot, doesn't it? Space is cool.
Space is cool.
Space is important.
Space is cool.
Yes, it is cool indeed. And we go because we need to go.
We need to go.
And we don't
So true.
necessarily even know some of the reasons why we need to go now. We can't even imagine probably what we'll learn as we continue to go and go further. So it's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. Good stuff.
Much respect, sir. Much
indeed.
respect.
Your name was?
My name is Michael.
Michael. Pleasure, Michael.
Nice meeting
Would you like a
yours
picture
well.
with him?
Sure.
Okay.
And y'all are out of where?
Orlando.
Oh, y'all are close.
Yeah.
In other words, the building blocks for life
Just wanted to shake your hand and say much respect. This is our very first time being here, and it's been a dream of mine ever since I was a little kid.
Isn't it cool? Where do you live?
This is amazing. Well, right now we live in Orlando, Florida, but I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Whereabouts?
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, being a little kid, always wanted to come here and see a rocket launch, and we're going to see it tomorrow. So this is amazing. I'm just admiring the project. And for the viewers, can you explain a little bit what they are?
Sure. I was piloted Discovery twice, and then I commanded Columbia and I commanded Endeavour. So on my first flight, we deployed Ulysses into polar orbit around the sun. On my second flight, it was a classified DoD mission. We deployed a classified payload. My third flight was a science mission. We set the record for the longest shuttle mission. We had a laboratory in a payload bay. We did science 24 hours around the clock, and it later got broken. And then my last flight, I commanded Endeavour on the first space station assembly mission. We got to put the first pieces of the space station together, and we're the first ones to go inside.
That's really cool.
It was very cool.
If I may ask, how long have you been with NASA?
So I was a test pilot in the Marine Corps before I got selected to be an astronaut in 1985. I spent half my Marine Corps career working for NASA, and then about half the astronaut corps is active duty military, and NASA reimburses the DoD for our pay allowances. Then I retired from the Marine Corps and went to work directly for NASA. So part of my time at NASA was as a pilot colonel in the Marine Corps. Part of it was as a civilian. So I've been with NASA for 37 years now, 1985.
Wow. Much respect, and thank you for all you do.
You bet.
So Michael asked me to explain why I got teary-eyed, and why I'm going to get teary-eyed now is listening to the things that they were saying about what space exploration means to humanity and why it's so necessary. It's all of the sci-fi I've ever grown up on as a kid, you know, whether it's Firefly, Star Wars, Star Trek, Farscape, they all have the same core values and they have the same core missions, which is the betterment of humanity and exploration. And, you know, this is the first of the first. This is commercial exploration, sending up normal folks like you and me. You know, maybe not immediately, but it's going to happen eventually. And it's a wonder to behold. And now that I've hugged a couple of astronauts, I've touched space. I'm going to cry.
Look at the size of that building. The VAB building, Vehicle Assembly Building. Thing's massive. Seen pictures of it, but just look at that. Wow. Today we're at NASA, spending 2 days here at the Kennedy Space Center with NASA Social, covering the Boeing Starliner launch that's happening tomorrow at 6:36 a.m. Today we're spending the entire day exploring the facility. Going inside the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building. Jessica's already in here. This is insane. Oh my Lord. Holy crap. This place is massive. It's inside this building right behind me where they built the space shuttle, the rockets that they shoot off into outer space. And as a side note, they filmed Transformers 3 here.
Okay, welcome to VAB, Vehicle Assembly Building. Built back in the early 60s for the Apollo program. We modified it, we went to the shuttle program, now we modified it again, now we're going to go to the back of the moon in this thing, okay? Artemis is going to be sitting down there on the far end of the thing, in the transfer aisle down there. You have 4 high bays in here. During the shuttle program, we only used 2 of them. We used high bay 1 and 2 down there, okay? This is transfer. We bring the tank in from Mississippi, Louisiana right here. The other end down there is where the Apollo program, the boosters come in and the shuttle, okay? We bring the tank in, it goes up over the other high bays over there where they put the tanks at for storage right until we needed them. And then when we need one, we pick it up with the crane and move it back over. This is considered the low bay right here, okay? So walk up here to the high bay now.
Oh, yeah.
During the Apollo program, this is the second stage, and that was the third stage over there. First stage was always built down here in the middle.
Boeing's built a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
The last couple of years. This looks different.
Yeah, this is all some of these. That they were right there. You can see the back end, the bottom of one of the old ML mobile launch platforms. So High Bay 1 and 2 down there are the only two we ever stacked out of. We bring the boosters in, move them up over to 16 floor. The reason we got to go up 16 floors up is we need that low bay crane right there, because everything would come in horizontal and we got to stand it up. That was the only way you stand it, because you pick it up, low bay crane moves in over there, unhooks, takes all the weight off the nose of the thing, you know, up and over. When we brought the orbiter in here, actually it took 120 days or more to do the stack, get it ready for the orbiter. The orbiter would come in here, we'd pick it up, hang it from its nose, it'd hang there for about 4 hours. But from the time it left the floor, the time it was hard down on the tank up there, it was about 24 hours. So the reason we let it hang like that for about 4 hours to get any swing out of it, because we had to turn things to a 45-degree angle to slip in through there. That opening up there dictated how much wing we could have on the orbiter. We wanted some more wing on the orbiter so we'd get a little bit more glide out of it. We couldn't do it because we couldn't get it through the opening up there. And it cost billions of dollars to modify this building where you get a big wing in there. So we had little short stubby wings on the orbiter. That's why right there.
Just walking around, looking at everything. I mean, yeah, the ceilings are massive, but what's this? If you look up here, I don't know if we can get directly underneath it. Look straight up. Kinda. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. Very cool. I don't know what that is, but has something to do with a rocket. Let's see it. We're about to go into Boeing, where they built the Starliner that's going to be launching tomorrow. And in order to do so, we have to wear these glasses. Jessica, we look pretty awesome.
Squinty eyes. So welcome NASA Social to the CBF. I know we are so incredibly excited to have you guys here. Thank you so much for being on the tour. Thank you for coming to see our factory and our spacecraft. We've got some really exciting things to show you. So I'm Jessica Londa with Boeing Communications. I handed out pad abort patch stickers because that was the test that I got to do commentary for. I don't know how many of you watched it.
I did.
Anybody? But that was a really great test, and you're actually going to get to see that vehicle in the factory. It's back home now, so that's very exciting. So let us know if you have any questions. A couple of ground rules before we get started. You are more than welcome to take photos and video, but no close-ups on flight hardware. Okay, that means like if you're going to take a photo of a piece of flight hardware, you have to get the whole thing into frame. All right, and we need you to stay at least 10 to 15 feet away from all the flight hardware at any given time. And we also have some barricades, so you'll see like, okay, this is FOD protected, which means foreign object detection or foreign debris, object debris. We don't want any of your hair or your dirt or anything like that getting that close. So make sure you stand back from that. We also do like sometimes we'll have alarms going on in the factory floor because we are still going with
operations. So if you hear one, it could just mean that we're moving the crane. If you hear one and you see me book it, then follow me, because we gotta get out. No, it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, your tour guide doesn't have her safety glasses.
Get with the program.
This is what we call the Commercial Crew and Cargo Processing Facility, the C3PF, 3 Cs. It used to be an old shuttle processing facility. So you'll actually see, I don't know if you saw when you came in, but you can see kind of the cutout of the big high bay door of where the tail of the shuttle used to be. And we're gonna let you guys hang out and take some pictures in front of the mural if you want to as well. So this is our logistics area, which is basically like any spacecraft part. It's like Toys R Us for spacecraft parts. So like anything you want, you can find them here. And the low bay, which you're actually not gonna see today, only because there really isn't any flight hardware down there. That's where they used to process the shuttle engines. But we're gonna take you into the high bay along this way, because that's where all of our flight hardware happens to be. Really quick, commercial crew astronauts. Can anyone name these folks? So this is Sunny Williams. She is going to be flying on our Starliner, our first post-certification mission. And then this is Eric Bowe. He will most likely fly with us on Starliner at some point in the future. And this is Doug Hurley and Bob Finken, who are going to fly on the SpaceX Demo 2 mission. All right, okay, so come on and follow me. Come on in. Wow. They're doing a thing.
They're doing the thing on the thing. This is amazing.
Alright, so come on in and huddle in around me here, and I'll kind of point out some things for you guys. Alright everyone, you can kind of come down here towards me and I'll point out a couple of things, and then you can kind of, you know, roam a little bit and take some photos and things like that in this general area. Okay, so right behind me, that is the Paddabort spacecraft. That is the spacecraft that flew on our very first flight test, Paddabort. It is now back. You can see all of the airbags underneath and all of the signatures of the people who signed that spacecraft. Over here is actually, so this is the service module that goes with the crew module for our crew flight test. So remember that Boeing Starliners are reusable. We only have 3 spacecraft for our NASA customer fleet. So we have the Paddabort spacecraft that flew, we have our orbital flight test vehicle that's on the pad, and we have our crew flight test vehicle that is going to fly Chris Ferguson, Nicole Mann, and Mike Fink for the first time. That orbital flight test vehicle is going to come back. We're going to refurbish it, process it, and fly it again with Sunny and Josh Cassada. Sunny Williams and Josh Cassada from NASA. And then this crew vehicle will come back and it will fly again. Service modules we do not reuse because they're mostly fuel. So they have basically 2 purposes. Either the fuel is all expended in the unlikely event that there's an abort, or all that fuel is kept and used for on-orbit maneuvering.
That's the instrument panel. That's kind of cool. I kind of want to go up and start pressing buttons and flipping switches and stuff, but I don't want to get too close because we were warned against that.
If anyone has ever watched any sci-fi movie, you must have manual override. Manual override is very important because everything always breaks in space.
Oh yeah.
Always.
So that's the capsule itself, and to be honest, it kind of looks like something straight out of Back to the Future. Like, where's Doc Brown? You know what? I don't even know what any of the names of this stuff is. All I know is it's space, and that's cool.
All right, so remember, once you're in once, this is your, I'm not gonna remember if you went in twice, so honesty is the best policy.
All right.
Okay, yes ma'am. So remember when our trip happens?
Oh, wow. That's just amazing. It's cool.
I'm a nerd, but I'm not like a brainiac nerd. I watch a lot of sci-fi, but I can't repeat a lot of information. But the one thing I can absolutely recognize, or two things I can absolutely recognize, is right behind me, and I'm getting so flustered, I'm excited, are space blankets, unmistakable, but also heat pads. Or no, not pads, it's heat what? Oh, darn it.
Heat shields.
Heat shields. Heat shields. In space, they always break.
I can't remember what she said that was. To me, it kind of looks like it's a space jacuzzi.
It's for fuel.
It's a fuel space jacuzzi. Straight ahead is a capsule, but that ladder, the steps there are kind of making it hard to see, but if I come over this way, you can see it. Very neat. And it's all signed by different astronauts and people who've worked on the program. And there's a better shot with the door open. So bad booty. Hey Jessica,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm really excited about the Star Wars movie, but doing this,
It's real life.
this is real life.
This is the beginning of the beginning.
Not many people get to do what we're doing right now.
No,
not
and
many
we're basically
people.
like one of those poor planets you see like in Star Wars who is just now starting their own space exploration.
This is truly amazing.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Atlas Space Flight Operations Center. How many of you have been here before? Looks a little different, huh? All right. Man, that was kind of weak. Looks kind of different. Yeah, okay. It looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? We're now into the 2000s and 20s, not in the 1960s. So yeah, as you can see, we've done a little remodeling here. We had a big wheelchair access ramp that's been removed, and we took advantage of the wall. 135 missions, 100% mission success. That is what we're all about. Those of you who don't know about United Launch Alliance, we were formed on December 1st of 2006. We're a merger between the Lockheed Martin Atlas program and the Boeing Delta program. Okay, one Boeing fan. All right, so it's interesting that we have a Boeing fan because the launch that we are working on today, and we'll start the count this evening, is a Boeing launch. We are providing lift for the Starliner capsule that was made by Boeing, and that flight will go to the International Space Station. The flight time for the rocket is actually about 15 minutes. We're only going to go about 98 miles high. The spacecraft will take it the rest of the way to the space station. So yeah, it's a 12-hour count for a 15-minute flight. That's interesting. All right, since you guys have already been here before, I don't need to say nothing. I guess that wraps it up. No. Anyway, behind these black doors behind you is the Launch Control Center. That is the area that controls the launch of the rocket. So the Launch Control Center right now, they're active. They're actually watching some activity going on in the light room. All right, so the top right, you'll see the Starliner and the aeroskirt. That was developed for this flight specifically because we're not using a payload fairing. So we have to make some adjustments for aerodynamic forces. The center top picture is the bottom of the rocket, the mobile launch platform, the rail lines that help us get the rocket out to the pad. The top left that's broken into 4 sections, right? Mm-hmm. So they have a couple of those in the white room. So real quick, the stadium seating behind me, over here to the right. The first section is the mission directors. That's the guys who pays the bills, and the high-level ULA folks are in there. They don't have any control of the rocket, but they do have final say During the count, you'll hear at T-6 or L-6 minutes, you'll hear the poll, and you'll hear the launch director say the rocket is ready to launch. The mission director will say you have permission to launch. That comes out of that room right there. The center room, the first half, is our broadcast booth. So during launch time, ulalaunch.com. That's ulalaunch.com. 20 minutes before launch, we normally do a broadcast. I think Boeing might be doing the broadcast, or NASA might be doing the broadcast on this one. So that might be a little different. I think they're doing an hour-long broadcast before. And then in the back half of the room, the Spacecraft Operations Center. So the spacecraft guys, they have their own set of consoles somewhere else. And they have 1 or 2 people here who feed as a conduit between the spacecraft team and the mission directors. So if something happens with the spacecraft, they'll tell the mission directors can stop the launch. The guys on the floor here are like, hey, what's going on? The rocket's good. Well, it's a spacecraft issue. And then on the far section of the back wall is the engineering support area. So all the design guys are here so that we don't wake them up at 3 in the morning and ask them some real complicated question. They're going to ask us 100 questions back to try to figure out how to solve the problem. So they're here, they're part of the count, they see everything. They don't control the rocket either, but they see how we got to that point, and if we have an issue, it helps them resolve it that much quicker.
There was so much inside that building that we wanted to show you. Basically, that building is where they build the rockets. But due to security, we weren't allowed to take pictures in certain areas. So, fair enough.
Rocket butt.
Rocket butt. Yeah, Jessica got to touch a rocket butt.
Well, it was a mock-up of a rocket butt, so it was actually made of wood, but we saw a rocket butt.
So as you see to the left here are large, iconic graphics, really defining what the Starliner mean for this new human spaceflight generation for NASA's Commercial Crew Program. You see the new livery and the 37-degree hash marks, which are indicative of our Boeing brand for the Boeing Starliner system. But as we stop here and let the team get back together, what you're going to see here is truly special. You know, I've been a part of Boeing for 13 years, working on the Space Shuttle program, and then Starliner, and then SLS, and then our gateway element, so across the portfolio. And what's special as you read about the history for more than 60 years with NASA is truly the amount of change that can happen in just one generation of investment in NASA and the opportunities that are enabled because of it. And certainly Commercial Crew Program is just one element of it. And so the theme of the gantry is launched on a foundation of firsts. This is the first flight of our Boeing Starliner system with Rosie the Rocketeer in the pilot seat to give our crews anthropometric measurements and understanding of how they will experience flight when we get ready to fly the crew flight test soon afterward. And so the experience here today is really going to focus on the hardware and how is it that we build a spacecraft and what are the missions of flight.
Right now they're giving us a tour of the crew transport vehicle. Basically, the astronauts are going to be riding this on the day of the launch. So we get to sit in it.
Our NASA friends set up here for the first group of 6 coming into the Airstream Astrovan. Again, a modified Atlas vehicle. what we'll do here for the team is to ensure that you get, number one, a quick shot in there. It probably won't be empty, so feel free to take a quick seat. Feel free to take a selfie. There's Boeing logo behind you. And just a quick 1 minute experience. Jay Cullis will be in there just giving you a quick overview. But again, round robin, get people through the vehicle so that everyone can experience it as quickly as possible. As you guys take a quick seat here, feel free to take a selfie, a quick pan, and then we'll keep moving. We're at capacity, and I'll just make sure about 30 seconds.
Right on.
Crazy cool.
So Airstream's been working with the space program since the Apollo era. We worked on the Apollo 11, 12, 13, and 14 with the mobile quarantine facilities. In the space shuttle era with the original Astrovan, Boeing came to us 2 years ago and said, hey, we need an astronaut transport vehicle. At the time, right now, we build touring coaches in this Mercedes-Benz Sprinter box, and then we do everything custom on the inside. It's a hand-built product on the inside here. Pretty simple, but I think the astronaut's going to ride out in comfort and style. So we're really excited to be part of this partnership. It's been awesome to work with Boeing. So feel free to please tag Airstream as much as possible because we are stoked.
Cool. Right here. It is day 2 here at Kennedy Space Center. Today is the launch of the Boeing Starliner. It's just after 5 o'clock in the morning. We've been on property since 3 o'clock in the morning. The flight, the launch is at 6:36. We're all set up, ready to go. And they have us set up at the media area, which is kind of cool. Not on the causeway. We're not watching it from home. We're watching it from actual NASA at their media area.
You can probably see how windy it is because of the fluff on my ears. We are right on the water, and no, I'm not trying to be a Jawa in support of space travel. You know, even though it did just come out yesterday, you know, we're all in support of that. But it is chilly. The sun's not up yet. It's extremely windy. Actually, over where we're stationed, it's even windier than where we are right now. And I'm excited though. I'm just ready for it. Just like any other opening day that we've done, this is very exciting.
You can see the VAB right behind us as we talk. That's it right there. Over this way there's an American flag, and this giant light that you see, this is the countdown clock. It says 4 minutes, but it's not just yet. And on the field that's behind us right there, that's where most of the media people are, like CBS and ABC, and they even have a Boeing tent over there.
Oh, there it goes. She's launching.
Oh, wow. and then a really early morning at NASA. It was phenomenal. First time ever getting to see a rocket launch. Thank you, NASA Social, for having us out. Had a blast. Can't wait till next time. It's been cold. It's been long hours. I had a blast. No pun intended.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.